Hi guys, good to have you guys back. We're still talking about starting a business. I thought to actually make it a series so we can get grounded and understand properly how to start a good business. Today, we're talking about choosing a great business name. And I've seen really funny names. This is pour out the fact that I've seen really funny names like Emeka and Sons, Olon Logbon, God Mercy Ventures, different names. Don't run away. Just wait and watch the entire video so you can learn how to pick a very good and great business name. And thank you guys for giving me the feedback about how to do better YouTube videos. I think the last ones we've done were portrait. People told me that shoot in landscape. They talked about people talking about lightning, and you see now we have actually a better video. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your feedback, and I still want to get more feedback. I'm very very open to feedbacks as long as they would help us learn better. Now, back to what I was saying, choosing a great business name. You know, I've always said this: you are not your business. Your business is not you. Yes, I understand the early days flux that happen between you and your business because you do a lot of things for your brand. So it tends to be like, I'm my brand. No, you're not your brand. Just like your brand is a child. Like your brand is more like a child to you, you understand? So you are not actually your brand, and your brand is not you. So you want to treat it like a separate entity. So I have really seen funny names, right? And this is because you still do not see your brand as a separate entity. People choose name from different buyers. We have religious buyers, and that's why we have someone like Oshelonu Ventures. We have Amazing God's Grace Venture. We have Sons buyers. Just imagine me naming my brand Adidoto and Junior because I have a junior. Anyways, I would that's a prayer. So just imagine me naming it Adidoto and Junior Ventures or Enterprise just because I want my son. I like my son, so I like my company son anyway. So I just want it to be part of my brand, and I'm just naming it out of those sentiments. People name out of ethical sentiments, different reasons, different sentiments. I can tell you these are not good way to name your brand. I am not saying all these names are bad, but 90% of them are bad because they lack creativity, they do not drive curiosity. See, people go a long way of not patronizing a brand just because of their name choice. And you are a startup, you don't have all the resources, and the little resources you have, you don't want to spend it on marketing because you just chose a terrible name for your brand. You want to spend on better things. And also, many of these names, you cannot tell a good brand story even from these names. These names are terrible such that you cannot tell a good brand story, you cannot position your brand correctly, and at the end, you are losing sales just because of these brand names. Naming a brand requires high level detailing, requires a lot of creativity too, requires you to take your time to name your brand. And there are various ways people have been naming brands. I'll talk about a few of them. Let me start with descriptive name. There are some names that when you hear them, you by default know what they stand for, what they are looking to do. Let's say let's say hotel.com or hotel.ng. You by default know that that's a lodging kind of company. We have the likes of Nigeria Airs. Nigeria Airs, you can easily tell that this is an airline. We have Eric, this is an airline. A lot of them like that. Descriptive name are good, but they are not exactly the best way you can name your brand. Another is evocative name. Evocative name are suggestive name and name that are metaphoric in nature. For instance, if I say my brand name, okay, we know I have a brand, Amazon. Amazon is a metaphorical name. You can see that even by just saying the name, you are curious to say, what does this brand stand for? I'm very sure that as you're watching this video, if you take a time, just pause the video and we play it. Think about the first time you hear brands like Amazon, Nike. How did you feel about the brand? By hearing their name alone, you're most likely curious. You want to know what does this brand stand for, what does this brand entails, and these are the kind of names that are relatively common. These names are very very good. These are names that I can recommend you to actually opt for. We also have invented name. Invented name are names that literally dropped for everyone into the man's head. I'm just joking though. But most time, invented name are names that people just coil out. Sometimes it might be an existing word and putting a suffix to it. For instance, we have Shopify. Shopify is not metaphorical. It's just a name someone just thought shop. If I is that you'll be iffy as a case maybe, but you get the idea, right? Those are names that are invented. We have Google in this category. We have a lot of them. We have Rolex, a whole lot of them in this category. Another type of naming approach to naming is also acronyms. We have like of IBM, HP. But the issue with acronyms is that not everybody, people don't have luxury of time to remember acronyms. You get, we have, I have studied enough acronym from nursing school, so your brand will not be the next acronym I have to know by all means. Another thing is about acronyms is that you have issue with trademarking your brand, and to just avoid those issues, just stay clear from acronyms. We also have geographical style of naming. We have, for instance, I've mentioned this brand before, but let me mention it again. We have Nigeria Airs. Nigeria Airs just literally box up the brand. We have Kentucky Fried Chicken. We have Hello Ibadan. Imagine me naming my brand Ibadan something something something. You just naturally expect that I'm talking about things in the city. So they might be good, right, for brands that want to focus just on a region or in a state or a city. They might come out as very good for that. But for you that you want to build a global brand, you definitely not want to name your brand that way, because when it's time for you to scale up, what happens? I understand there can be rare case of that might still have scaled globally. However, most times this is not the best choice or best way to name the brand. Another that we have is founder. I know that this is where the Emeka and Sons will be happy about, just naming my brand Adidotun and Junior. That is like, okay, founder's name. But this method has become obsolete. It is way gone. We have brands that have sustained this, have achieved this very well. For instance, is Ford. Ford cars, right? The name is named after the founder of the brand. But the truth is that today, name have become saturated. Do you know how many people are being Adidotun? So if I have to say Adidotun and Junior, a lot of people are thinking of using the same name for their brand. And eventually, I have issue with patents, I have issue with trademarking, I have issue to even coin out a story. See, the main point here is that when naming a brand, you want to name a brand in a way that it is creative, it is compelling, it drives curiosity, and you can tell a brand story from even the brand. Now, if I name my brand Adidoto and Son, if I name my brand Olonlogumo, if I name my brand God Amazing God something, another religious based kind of naming, how do I tell my brand story? Where is the creativity? Where is the curiosity for the customer that wants to buy a product from me? They are not even trying to look up what the brand is about. They just feel it's a religious. You're not a religious organization, so leave religion's name aside. Your brand, you want to have a family name for your brand, just leave that aside. You can be when your brand grow and it gets to the point where it is globally known, people will know your brand. For me, the best ways to name brand is either evocative or inventive. If these two does not are not sufficient for you, then you can explore descriptive. There is one type of naming I did not mention earlier, and I really want to mention it so we won't be wondering that can't I name my brand this way. Is lexical. Lexical is just using rhythms to name your brand. An example of lexical naming is Krispy Kreme. We have dribble. We have a lot of them in that category. Name just that's come from rhythms or just calling a brand like, let me say, Toki Toki. I know that's not a good example, but what I'm trying to say. Those kind of brands are mostly focused on some kind of funky lifestyles, and you would not find a big organization, or let me not say big organization now, because Crypto is actually a big organization, but you find a very serious organization like an oil company, a bank in this segment. Imagine me saying, come and patronize Crypto Bank. So I need to mention that. I actually skipped it initially, but I just remembered, so I thought to just quickly mention it. This okay, so for I was saying earlier, I think I was talking about the kind of so which one of these would be the best for me? Okay, for me, I think I would be going with suggestive, which is the evocative. Evocative is suggestive or metaphoric in nature. Then we also have the invented. There may be the lexical, depending on the industry I'm going to. What we need to always know is that when we are naming our brand, we need to be creative about it. We need to be very, very creative about it. We also need to name our brand in a way that it doesn't box us like the geographical kind of naming. It doesn't box us to an environment in case we want to scale. Because the idea we have here is that we are building a global brand. Also, you want to build a brand that can allow you to tell a sweet, compelling brand story without stress. And also, when people hear your brand name, they have a cue on what your brand is doing, or is drive them to curiosity, to knowing why your brand exists. In naming a brand, you don't need to rush yourself. Take your time, relax, get options on how to name a brand. Get a whole lot of options. I'll also be adding in the description of this video sites that can help people with coining out name. And if you need to reach out to me to coin out a name, reach out to me. I will definitely send you to a page where you can actually see how to name your brand, and they can also help you, though at a fee, but they can really help you with naming your brand and bringing a lot of things when it comes to naming in your brand. Like they can help you, they will name your brand, they will help you with your social media, emails, some really critical thing that you need to do. So you want to take your time to name your brand. You want to really, really take your time to name your brand. Thank you.